and welcome to Kids Corner. Today, Sir Winston and I are going to show you how to make a giraffe. To make a giraffe, you're going to need 2 toilet paper rolls, or if you have a big roll like one that comes with paper towel, that could be useful. Crayons or paint or colored markers. I'm using some black markers as well. Glue, masking tape, scissors, pencil, and some scrap paper. Now, when Sir Winston and I were trying to figure out how to make a giraffe, there's a few things that we learned. And one of them is if you're going to put 2 toilet paper rolls together, it is always a good idea to put on the base or the bottom color first. In this case, a yellow for our giraffe. So what we've already done is we have actually painted our 2 toilet paper rolls. Now before you paint, remember to look carefully so that you don't have any pieces of toilet paper still stuck to the row. And in this case, where you're putting 2 rolls together, you may want to have a look to see if they'll fit together, because sometimes we kind of squish our rolls when we're taking them off. So to stick our toilet paper rolls together, we're going to use masking tape. And what we're going to do is tear some off, and we're going to put it inside the first one, or what's going to be our bottom. And we really, most of the time, can't get all around it with one roll of tape. So we're going to take a second piece of tape. And we're doing it so that the sticky side is sticking out. We're putting it along the bottom. And then we're going to try to fit our other roll down over it. And sometimes this is where your pencil can come in handy, is we're going to take the pencil and we're going to press against the tape on the inside while holding on to the outside. So there we have our 2 rolls together. So what we're going to do is to really give the sense that the giraffe is really a very tall animal. We're going to cut out a really long piece for the legs. So we're going to look at what's a good place to do this. And we want to have a look at where it sort of happens on the top as well. I think here's a good place. So we're going to draw a big U going up. Now we're not going to go all the way to the top. We'll do that U coming down. So you can see here what I've done, and then we're going to take our scissors and cut that out. And you may need help from an adult because it can be really tricky as we get to the top of this to get it turned. And there we go. Now, we really want, and actually you may want to save this because this can be useful for the horns that a giraffe has. So what we want to do is to get a sense, you can see here, of the giraffe's face to help us figure out where things are going to be. So we're going to very lightly take a pencil and just lightly, and mine is going to be a bit more than lightly so that you can see it, sort of draw a line and you may be able to see it there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my marker. I'm going to draw along the bottom of the muzzle what would be like a giraffe's mouth. So you can see it there. And then what I'm going to do is just a little way above it, I'm going to take and make 2 dots for the nostril on our giraffe's nose. And now I'm going to make the eye. And if you've ever seen a picture of a giraffe, they have very long eyelashes. So what I'm going to do is for the top of the eye, I'm going to make that first eyelash right around the corner, or out of the corner. So that will already give a sense of it. And we'll make one on the other side, so you just kind of wanted the same sort of distance from the top of the nose as the other one. First eyelash going out. Then when we have the eyes roughly the same, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little circle in the eye that we're not going to color in, and it's going to give us a little bit of a highlight to give a sense that the eye is catching the light. We'll color the rest in, and we'll add a couple of more eyelashes right along the end of the eye. And so you can see that we've made the face here. Now what we're going to do is do our spots on the giraffe. And I have some paint here that's brown in color. And actually, before we do the spots, we're going to give the giraffe hooves on his 2 front legs. So we're going to draw it so that we have a little rectangle at the start. Now, the giraffe, the top of his head is mostly brown, and so what we're going to do is kind of give him some of that brown color, and it kind of comes down a bit for his nose, and we'll just come out a bit there. We're going to draw some spots, and the spots can be, if you want to say, really splotchy, but they're a little more like irregular rectangles. So they're not circles. And the giraffe really has quite a bit of spots on him. And another thing that we'll want to do is draw some of our spots over the seam of our 2 toilet paper rolls so it doesn't make them quite as obvious. Now, some of the pattern is fairly regular of where his splotches are, so we're kind of making them a bit more in a line going down. Now, one of the things that the giraffe has along the back of his neck is like a mane, what a horse has, and you can see it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, at the center of the back, is we're just going to draw kind of line down like this. And we'll draw it all the way down perhaps to where the two join. And we'll also perhaps draw a tail. We'll just, so we wouldn't mistake it for one of our spots, I've just drawn like a backwards S or a question mark, and we'll put a little bit of the end of this tail, and we'll draw out some more of our spots. I finish putting on the spots. Now we need to finish off our giraffe. At the top, if you can see, has horns and an ear. Now you can cut the horns out of the leftover piece that you have here, or you can do it out of paper. And the horns are the same color, brown as this, and his ears are the same color as the base color. So if you're painting, what you might want to do actually is paint them the same time that you have your paints out. If you're going to make it out of paper, take your scrap piece of paper, and what I did was I cut out a rectangle, folded it in half, and drew on the ear. So then you cut it out and you color it or paint it your base color. Now I had already cut some out and painted them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brown paint and put a faint amount right in the center of the ear, just so it's a little darker, because you can sometimes see animals, the spots within the middle of their ear are a little darker, that there's skin or that you have a shadow. And that's the ear part. Now the horn part is, again, you're going to take a piece of paper, fold it in half, and I've drawn something. It looks a little like a mushroom. So you can draw it, cut it out, and because you folded it over, you'll have two. And you'll use the same color that you did your spots to do that, and you will paint both sides, both of your horns and your ears. And I've already done that because it takes a little while to dry. So what we're going to do is take our glue, and we're going to put some glue on the back of our horn. And the horns are kind of straight up, and they're over the eyes. Like that. Now we're going to take our ears and we're going to put glue on the back, not the place, not the side where I've put a little brown, because that's the start or the front of his ears. So on both of them, some glue goes along the back. And your ears are going to go out on a diagonal, an angle from the eyes, trying to get them both the same level. And there you go, a giraffe. And so we have our two giraffes for Noah's Ark. So, shall we have a little prayer? If you could bow your head and repeat after me. Loving God, thank you for being there for us. Help us to be kind to other people and look after your world. Amen. And we'll see you next time at Kids Corner.